believe so. Yeah. Yeah, we'll wait till just like maybe 5 minutes to see. It'll be more efficient. Yeah. And I mean, I can. What's going on, sis? How's the week going?
Yeah, we take me 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
She knew that I'd still be here. I'm filing more latitude. But I
And they're all,
I know.
It's a good turning.
basically like you want.
We'll eventually come show up. I'm
Yeah, so I work.
Hey everyone, we're going to get going in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We know 5 o'clock's a hard start here in Austin.
I have that. Me and Chris are on this side.
Right. We can get the president.
Ready now?
Yeah, you
Okay.
can. I don't know if you wanted anybody else to join.
Carol, you want a picture?
We'll balance.
Perfect.
All right.
Say AFSCME.
Oh, all right.
Miles, 1, 2, 3. There you go. One, two.
Other board members.
One more.
Oh, right.
Well,
Sorry, guys.
I didn't change.
We'll have to really skip switch boards.
one more.
Perfect.
1, 2, 3. There you go.
All right.
I'm lonely.
Hey, everybody. We're going to get started here in just a second. Thanks for being here. Let folks get situated. All right.
Thanks again, everyone, for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. I'm Bryden Summers, President of the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, Local 1624. I want to thank you all for spending your time with us this evening at this City Employee Speak Out. Whether you are here to share your story or to support your fellow workers, your presence is sending a message that we want city workers to be heard and that we are standing together. A special thanks to the City Council members joining us this evening. Councilmember Zoe Kadri, thank you for your office for helping initiate this. Councilmember Mike Siegel. Councilmember Krista Lane. Councilmember Paige Ellis. Thank you again. We appreciate you for being here. It shows us that you are taking your workers seriously, that you're taking the city services that we provide seriously. We do have a dream, I think, at some point in the future to have a version of this like the county has, where we're in the city council chambers with the full council. I think we definitely had some support to try to get that done this year, and we really appreciate that. But I think this is going to be kind of a pilot for that, where we're all here talking to council members that are interested in what we have to say, and we're going to show what that looks like, and I think it'll be easier to keep moving in that direction in the future. All right, so for tonight, this is about workers and telling their stories. It's about what it means to serve the city when you're trying to make ends meet. Many of our members are faced with tough choices like rent or groceries, or gas, or childcare, or working overtime, or risking falling behind. Yet we keep showing up because we believe in public service. But belief doesn't pay the bills. And that's why AFSCME 1624 is fighting for a raise that's rooted in equity, one that puts more money in the hands of workers who need it most. Here are our demands. The city must commit to raising the minimum wage to match the MIT living wages calculator for a single person to be able to afford to live in the Austin area. That rate is $24.55 an hour. We know that the city has in the past pegged that to the CPI number, the Consumer Price Index number. We believe that the MIT number is a better metric. It is developed by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, not the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which they're also using that number to influence decisions at the Fed with interest rates and federal policy or federal funding. So we think it's a cleaner number, but also it's a bigger number. I think anecdotally, we all know that it's expensive to live in Austin, and $24.55 is more in line with what that looks like. And so that's a big ask. That's far away from where the minimum wage is now for the city. And so what we're really saying here is we're looking for the city to commit to start putting a plan together to get to that number over the next couple of years. We know it's going to take some time and some planning, and we'd like for that process to get started. For this year, we're asking for a 4% across the board raise for all employees. We know that we saw the 3.5% raise that was put in the not proposed budget, but the budget projections from the budget office. We're looking for a 4% raise. We think that's fair for our workers this year. We also want to see workers making under $50,000 a year getting a flat raise of $2,000. This is what that equitable pay looks like for us. That would be a bigger percentage for the folks at the lower end of the scale than the folks at the higher end. And to us, that's really, again, how we can demonstrate that in a monetary term. Talking ahead a little bit, I think we are realistic that there will probably need to be a tax rate election to salvage the city's budget with a $33 million deficit projected for next year. We at AFSCME 1624 are ready for that challenge, and we want to work with you, and we want to see y'all work together to convince the voters of why this is so critical. But our involvement in any coalition for that campaign is contingent on 4 assurances. 1, no layoffs for any city staff. 2, restoration of all city services, including those affected by federal funding cuts and full staffing levels of all departments. 3, a progressive cost of living raise like you just described, and also assurances of future COLAs. And 4, a commitment to evaluate the city's real estate portfolio for potential improvements for working conditions and to address budget challenges. A lot has changed since COVID. The city holds a lot of real estate, so we'd like to see if there could be some evaluation of that. So this is our vision for how we take care of workers and the city that we love. All right, so here's how the rest of tonight is going to go. We'll begin with remarks from council members, if you'd like to speak. If you guys want to keep it, brief, a couple minutes, and then after that, we're going to turn it over to our AFSCME members. We had initially said 2 minutes to speak, but we can probably go a little bit longer. What we'll do is we've got 4 seats up here, so we'll call people up in bunches. If people want to do it as a department, we'll try to see if we can get that organized. And then please just come up and tell your story. So with that, let's go ahead and kick it off. I guess I put you on the spot. Would any council members like to say any words before you go?
Ask a politician to give a speech.
Yeah. We'll start down here.
I get to be the guinea pig with the microphone. All right, there we go. I'd like to make sure everybody can hear me. I am Austin City Council Member Paige Ellis, and I am fortunate to get to represent Southwest Austin. So anyone that lives Zilker Park down to Circle C, Brody, Maple Run, Shady Hollow area, Oak Hill, all of those folks are District 8 residents. So I hope there's some in the audience. I know there's a couple of people that work in City Hall that are District 8 residents. So I feel like we get a good pulse on what it is that we're seeing on the ground every day in the neighborhoods that we represent. I've been fortunate to get to do this work since 2019. So I'm about 6.5 years into doing this work, and have seen a lot of different budget cycles over the years, and we've obviously seen that forecast change a lot over the years. There used to be some moments where we get more surplus, and now we're getting news that we've got to make sure to tighten up a little bit, but figure out how to best support our employees. So I'm always, I want to make sure that Austin is the best employer in town. We have, I think we're the 3rd largest employer, and I want to make sure that folks respect the work that people are doing every day. Believe that we're delivering good city services, and make sure that people are getting the bang for their buck that they're putting back into the city themselves, but to make sure that we're a leader in protecting our workers, making sure they have a safe environment. And so some of the work that we've done over the years, I led on some of the accrued sick and vacation time. So as the city is transitioning into its new our input and employee tracking system, that we make sure that if you, for any reason, stepped away from city work, whether you took time to take care of family or for any other reason you stepped away, when you come back, your time that you have been working for the city should match exactly where it was when you left. So many years ago, the incentive was, we don't want people to leave the city. We want to make sure that they never, never step away. But this was affecting people who had family issues, whether they had a baby, whether they had an ailing parent that they were caring for, and then they were penalized unfairly when they wanted to come back and work for the city. So I hope that we have really good recruitment and retention efforts. And obviously that means listening to you and making sure that we're delivering on the things that you're asking for.
Hey y'all, Mike Siegel, City Council, District 7. Thanks so much to AFSCME, your president, the executive board, and all of you as members for inviting us here. I really love this poster, raise the lifts everyone. I think that can't be stated enough, that when we pay our city workers more, that lifts all boats in the city. When we set a new wage standard for what it means to have a living wage, that helps workers in every walk of life. I also really like the choice of candy tonight, payday. Very appropriate, and I guess I'm just here to say that as an AFSCME member, as one of your representatives on council, I'm here to fight for you to make sure that there are 0 layoffs and 0 cuts as a part of this next budget cycle. I think Austin voters will be very receptive to a message that basically says Trump and Elon and the Texas legislature have imposed all these cuts on your city. If you could just step up a few pennies per $100 of valuation of your property, you can make sure we take care of our workers, we maintain the same high quality level of service. I think Austin voters will be with us if we go to them this November with that message. And I think our work is to really create a clear message. And so all of your testimony tonight really is a part of that, helping us tell the story to the people of Austin, why we do need to make these investments in our workforce. And so really just, again, thanks y'all for being here and look forward to what you shared.
That I had to take the whole thing. Hey y'all, my name is Councilman Rizzo Godry. I represent District 9 on the Austin City Council. I've been on the dais for 2.5 years. I've had to deal with 2 different city managers, 2 different types of budgets. but I'm really excited about this upcoming budget cycle. But kind of wanted to start off by just saying thank you to everyone in the room. You guys are the folks who keep the lights on, and without the people in this room, the city isn't what it is. So I really appreciate all the hard work and for y'all to do just a labor of love that keeps the city running and that makes the city so special. But I'm really excited. You know, I know they call this this concept a pilot. I'd spoken to Carol, must have been a month or two ago, about doing something like this. And I was honestly shocked and also kind of jealous that they do this at a county where they have a dedicated day, they have a dedicated time where AFSCME workers are able to come and be able to talk about what's important to them. And I think it's a shame we don't have that set as a city yet. But I think that's something that we can all start really advocating for. I know I talked to the city manager and the mayor about it this year. And I think the more of us who kind of make noise about it, maybe we can make that a reality. But I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to hear from everyone. So that's why I'm going to keep my comments really short because tonight's about y'all. So once again, really appreciate y'all, and we'll pass it off to Crystal Lane.
Yes, I'm Crystal Lane. I represent District 6, which is in the northern and northwestern suburbs of Austin. One of only 2 districts that doesn't have any central parts of the city as part of the district. I am a first-time candidate, fairly new to city politics, and not yet 6 months into my term. But many people can attest, I have come in with strength and will continue to bring that. I didn't run so I could play games, but so that I could work for our people in our community. I have the distinction of in the last election cycle being the only candidate to defeat a Republican incumbent. That sounds great. Until you also hear, I have the distinction of having won in the only Austin district that has never re-elected an incumbent. And so as amazing as it is to be able to come in the way of the speed dial to the state of Texas trying to get in the way of the city of Austin, I also never forget that out in the part of the city that I live in, that we live in, people need some change to happen in a way that they can feel out in our neighborhood. And so coming to that, knowing that reality in this particular moment is very challenging line for me to walk, especially being so new. This is a very challenging budget cycle. However, I will also say that I grew up without a lot of financial security, without a lot of housing stability. I experienced not having enough to eat as a child, and eventually things got better. But one of the things that breaks my heart the most about Austin right now is how unstable our community has become as it has become so challenging to afford to live here. And I think that one of the very, very important things that the city of Austin must do is find ways to offer access to benefits and pay enough money for our employees to experience stability, because our employees can be the fabric of this community that helps us stay together as we all navigate the challenges that are coming over the next 4 years. So even though I worry about my district, I didn't run because I wanted to be a politician or get reelected forever. I ran because I wanted to do good and make positive change. And so I'm so lucky to be here with more experienced council members, hoping to get this forum going. And I really look forward to hearing directly from you what's top of mind for you, so I can do my part to help bring home whatever we can. Thank you.
All right, so let's hear from some members. You want to call names out or?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I know a lot of y'all marked no, but this is a union safe home. And so if you've marked no and you feel like you want to say a few words, please do so. We're going to start off with Mike Conti from Austin Public Library.
I think he's up here all alone.
Let's get you some company. Joni Bejarano. Joni?
Oh, John. John, sorry.
I didn't.
I was like, what? No, you're good?
Oh, okay.
All right, you go, Mike. Let's just roll.
Sounds good, sounds good. Hi, y'all. My name is Mike Conti. I'm a library associate at the John Gillum branch in District 7. I'm a resident of District 9. Really glad to be here tonight. Thanks for piloting this. It's good to know that there's so many council members that are not just members of the union, but are actively supporting what the union fights for. I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about this proposal for progressive COLA and what it'll mean for people who share my job position. So library associates are kind of the frontline staff you see at libraries. Don't be fooled by the AFSCME website. I'm not a librarian. Most of the people you call librarians, it's like going to the dentist, the hygienist is the one you're probably spending most of your time with. A lot of our staff are part-time at 20 hours or 30 hours, so getting, some more benefits, but still not doing 40 hours a week. I'd say a plurality of staff at most of our locations, and even a majority of staff at a lot of locations are making less than 40 hours a week. So this progressive COLA will have a huge impact on those workers. And those aren't just staff members who are choosing to work 20 or 30 hours, though many of them are. A lot of folks end up in those positions because they really want to work at the library, they really want to stay at the city, and they're, getting by on 30 hours a week, hoping that 40-hour will open up, hoping that they can get promoted into another 40-hour position after they've gotten their master's and become a real librarian, unlike myself. I really think this will be a great way to support those folks. I know that Iris is going to share some comments from one of our colleagues down at Twin Oaks who can't be here tonight. But yeah, I really, as we go through this, and I know it's not limited to our department. I know that Parks, I know that lots of departments lean really heavily, especially on the front line, on people who aren't, salaried at 40 hours a year. And that this progressive COLA that's going to lift that bottom up and get us closer to the living wage that Brian was talking about earlier. It's going to have a huge, huge impact on retaining those amazing, amazing employees. And it's like productive stuff. Before I step away from the mic, I have to mention, a lot of people think the library is like kind of a quiet, nice place to work. This is the horizon where you can see kind of what public goods and services could be, but it's also where all the failures of public services and public support comes home to roost. Last week, someone lost their life outside of the Manchaca Road branch. Staff there were the first responders while EMS was on their way. It was a deeply traumatic situation for our staff, for patrons, and I think it's important when you think about library workers, parks workers, we do a lot of fun stuff that people like to see and enjoy, but we're also oftentimes the public workers, the people are most likely to come into contact with and get placed in some really difficult situations. So thank you so much for your time.
Iris, did you want to follow that up? Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to read a statement from a union brother at Twin Oaks Branch Library. But first, I wanted to say I'm a Travis County employee, and I work in the data policy side of all of the legal services that we provide. And if it wasn't for some of the life-saving services that the city provides, we would have much worse situations to deal with. So I am truly appreciative of all of the work that city workers do. Not just those in my union, of course, I'm especially appreciative of those, but it is so important. So thank you. Thank you for being here to listen to them. So our friend and union brother is Walter Connell Wilson, and he works at Twin Oaks Branch Library. Working for the city of Boston at the library has been the most meaningful job I have ever had. I love the people I work with, as well as the community I've gotten to know and serve over the past 3 years. I only work part-time, and understandably work a few other jobs to supplement my city income. Because my schedule changes every week, I use an app called TaskRabbit to set my availability and types of jobs I can do around my library schedule. The app suggests hourly rates based on what all the taskers in Austin have been paid to do the particular job. The lowest paying jobs I am available to be hired for are waiting in line and office administration. Personally, I think every person who works for the city of Austin could do these jobs. I mean, even to fill out UKG to get paid, a city employee could be qualified for the higher paying task of data entry. The rates for these jobs as of June 9th, based on no experience entered into TaskRabbit, are $25 an hour, $27 an hour, and $26 an hour respectively. I have 0 tasks completed in these job areas. Since starting work on TaskRabbit with no specialized skills or tools listed other than being able-bodied and having a car to drive to a work location, I have never been hired for less than $30 an hour, as I was getting paid $15 at the library. I have gotten more experience, I have gotten paid more. Private citizens of Austin pay me enough that I can continue to scrape by, serving the entire public of Austin. The odd thing to me is that every task I have ever done on the app is something I have done as part of my work at the library. From gardening our sensory garden beds to heavy lifting and loading the books in transit to and from other branches. The work doesn't supplement my city income anymore. It allows it. The other harsh reality of my situation, as well as every other minimum wage city employee of Austin, is that we are in the same housing market, healthcare landscape, and grocery stores, as the people who can afford to hire me and other taskers at those rates. I am very lucky. I am in a very lucky position in that I do not have too many years of work sunk into retirement fund with the city, or rely on you for healthcare, or have any other support, anybody to support other than myself. To be sure, my needs are not being met. The moment I want to get a therapist or dental insurance, pay off my college debt, or get an apartment without roommates, I will have to make a very hard decision. I do not want to be rich. I only want to continue to live in Austin and serve the community I have gotten to love. Please allow me and others like me to do so. $25.55 is the bare minimum. Thank you for considering it.
Thank you so much, Iris. Ms. Ashley Krause and Mr. Ben Sutterly.
I feel things very deeply, so thank you very much for being here, because this has already been a little hard for me. So to have to keep hearing it, I appreciate you. I wrote some notes because y'all know I can talk, so I just want to go ahead and streamline. I'm Ashley Krause. I work at Austin Public Health. I'm a licensed master social worker. Like many city employees, I live outside of Travis County, not because I want to, but because I can't afford to live in the city that I serve. You're going to hear a lot about compensation and the importance of a progressive COLA. That is critical, but I do want you to know that it's not the only issue that workers are facing. As you know, we've been told that every department must cut 5% from their budget. Every department except for the 3 emergency services account for less than 10% of the general fund. Yet we're all being asked to cut the same percentage. Some departments have already been gutted by federal funding losses and can't afford more reductions. If equity is our goal, as we often say, please consider applying cuts progressively as well, based on how much a department receives. We do want fair pay, but we also want the resources to do our jobs. Yesterday, HVAC systems failed in 3 city buildings. My building at Betty Dunkerley campus, the Ben White building, and the Tokyo Electron Grove Riverside building. All 3 were without air conditioning yesterday. Because we do not have a citywide policy in place, it's up to individual managers to decide whether or not staff can go home. It was 94 degrees. Some of us were told to stay put. Others of us had to drive across town to find an office with working AC. The sweet irony is that my backup building is the Grove Riverside, so both air conditioners were out. And these people that they will not allow to go home are the exact same people who work from home effectively for 3 years. So we need a citywide policy in place of what to do if there's an emergency, such as I've also been asked to work in a building with no running water. So no running water, no air conditioning. I think that's a really low, that's a win. That's an immediate win we can get. We want fair pay, but we also want safe, humane working conditions. We also face major inconsistencies in HR policy. Whether you're allowed to telework, adjust your schedule, flex your hours. If you get properly zoned pay, it can vary entirely based on department leadership. And that uncertainty discourages people from seeking promotions or transfers, because what if the new department is less flexible or interprets the rules differently than my current department? Yes, we want fair pay, but we also want clear and consistent policies. As you know, the city auditor recently found serious failures in how the city handles discrimination, harassment, and retaliation complaints. Publicly, leadership offered concern, but behind closed doors, the city manager reportedly dismissed us as whiners. It's a quote. I would hope that as leaders, you don't find that acceptable. HRD tells us council can't influence personnel policy, but we've seen you act before. On bonuses, working conditions, and more, you do have influence, and we're asking for you to use it. Ease the deficit by offloading this real estate that you're paying a fortune to maintain. Somebody's there to fix my air conditioner 4 times a month. I know that costs money. Insist on a consistent citywide telework policy comparable to Travis County's, and ensure fair and equitable budget reductions. Yes, we want a progressive COLA, but we also want a city that supports its workers, treats us fairly, and earns our trust. Thank you.
Stole some of my points.
Sorry.
It's all right. Hi, my name is Ben Sutterby. I'm a proud member of AFSCME 1624. I'm actually a county employee here in solidarity with these city workers. But I also live here in Austin and pay Austin taxes. And I, hear at our monthly meetings from these workers about their concerns, about things that are happening in their workplaces. I also serve on the 2026 Bond Advisory Task Force, and I heard from a department presenting to us from Fleet about some service buildings where they're having people work on these heavy machinery, big trucks, that is a big metal building with no air conditioning. So I don't know if y'all been in a big metal building in Texas in the summer, but there's a reason why I never wanted to go out to the shed at my parents' place. It is incredibly hot. Those aren't safe working conditions. We're in a state that really limits what rules you can put in place for other large employers in our area, small employers, but the city can hold itself to a higher standard. For workers that their job site, their work, the nature of their work requires them to be on site, we need to make sure that we're looking for ways to take care of them. And for workers who the nature of their work can be performed remotely, we need to look for ways to maximize that. It's a cost savings thing. It gives dignity to that worker that recognizes the nature of their work. And it's, when you look at other large employers, right? Travis County has found ways to save money and do the work in sometimes even more effective ways by allowing people to avoid that hour and a half of driving in. They actually won an award from the National Association of Counties. I can share some information about that if you'd like. But looking for ways that both save money and do good by the worker, is what I would encourage. Obviously, I am in full support of what we have here from our union. I think it makes sense that the people who serve the public should be able to live in the community that they serve. And the MIT living wage is a great way to peg the floor of that. And then having it be a progressive raise is a way to make sure that everyone across the pay scales are being taken care of. I also realize the reality that y'all face when having to explain, make the case to the public about this. I got my start at the county in the tax office. I worked there 7.5 years in the call center talking about property taxes with people on the phone. So I fully know what it is to explain the tax rate to someone and why for the cost of, one trip to P. Terry's, we can do something great for our community and put it in terms that people can realize and not just, oh, the city's raising my taxes. I don't know why this is going to happen. And the union is a great partner in the coalition necessary to make these things happen. Y'all have been painted into a corner unfairly by the state and now by the federal government cutting huge grants. The Commissioner's Court, the county heard a report this morning about some of those grants to Austin Public Health. And it is jarring for someone who lives in this community. Ounce of prevention beats a pound of cure. You're trying to keep this ship aright and duct tape together. I realize that. But a big component of that is taking care of the people who implement all these programs. We can have all the best designed programs in the world, the best flow charts, the most thought out plans. But if the people who implement it, the people on the ground are not being taken care of, it's not going to happen. The park in my neighborhood, it can be the nicest drawn out plan, but if the people who do the maintenance on it are not being taken care of, it's not going to meet the vision and the potential of what our city has to offer. So to sum it up, we want to be part of a coalition that makes this happen, that gives you the space and the tools you need to be able to deliver this and all the community needs. Well, not all the needs, there are too many to number, right? But some serious, deeply felt community needs, and those things don't have to be in opposition. Those things go together. Because the real opposition is that scarcity mindset that's saying that communities can't take care of each other, which we don't believe because we believe in solidarity as human members.
Thank you, Ashley and Ben. Next we have Joel Manso and Isaiah Garcia. Isaiah, still here?
Good evening, y'all. My name is Joel Manso. I am a VP, Executive VP with AFSCME 1624, proud union member. I work for the Austin Watershed Protection as a landscape technician. I'm born and raised here in Austin, Texas. And I'm here to support our couple of MIT initiative. We do need a progressive pay raise, especially individuals like myself who are field operation employees. A lot of us do not get paid enough to just live off 40 hours a week with the city of Austin. A lot of us have side jobs, welding, CDL drivers, they drive on the weekend. We have individuals driving from Waco, San Antonio, so we can't afford to live or buy homes in the city of Austin. With this initiative, it might give us that chance to live out the American dream, because the way I'm seeing it right now with our political climate, our expense, with the heat going on in our environment, a lot is changing and it's making it hard for us to really grasp that American dream. Like myself, I have to show up to work every single day. After the storms last week, we had to be out there in the east side, picking up all these trees, fallen limbs to protect our community, to keep it safe for cyclists and walkers and drivers. And I'm still out there seeing all this stuff, with these budget cuts. We can't go out there and protect our public. We need overtime. We need to protect our public. If not, it's going to cost us major lawsuits if someone runs into a tree. It's on the city of Austin property that we know and we know it's there. So, please support us, please support AFSCME. I love what I do, and I really appreciate y'all giving us this time to speak this evening.
Hello, my name is Isaiah Garcia. I'm a research analyst with Austin Public Health. I will be celebrating 18 years with Austin Public Health in August, and I have been a proud AFSCME member since day one. I am not going to talk about COLA or compensation at this moment. What I am going to talk about is the public health threat and danger that we're in right now, immediately. I would highly suggest for y'all to get on YouTube and look for this video called "These Doctors Have a Dire Warning." It's on the YouTube channel More Perfect Union, and it is an interview with one of our former head medical directors, Dr. Philip Wong. He is over in Dallas County dealing with measles. Just so y'all know, the reason why the Vaccines for Children program was initiated was because of a giant measles outbreak in 1989 through 1991. Hundreds of people died. We are, and this is why I decided I was going to say something today. On the way over here, I heard that the ACIP, Advisory Committee on Immunizations Practices, has been dismissed completely. All 17 members. This has never happened before in history. I have dedicated the majority of the past 15 years of my life to keeping the community vaccinated, making sure that the vaccines that are administered are safe and effective. And I am at a loss now, seeing how things are rolling out. I owe the city so much. I have an autoimmune disease that costs my insurance company over $25,000 every 2 months. And I am completely dependent on my health insurance. That being said, I dance with who brought me. When y'all asked me to walk into the hot zone for COVID and supervise the testing, when y'all asked me to walk into the points of distribution and supervise the vaccine administration, I did it. And I went home and wondered why I was doing it. Why am I putting myself out there? And going home and having nightmares from the stress. Still having nightmares. Broke my back molar in the past 3 months, worrying about all of my friends that have lost their jobs and feeling guilty that I got saved and moved into a general fund. Refugee clinic is done at the end of this fiscal year. Those are the people that need it the most. And now VFC looks like it is in jeopardy. Maybe I'm doomsaying, I don't know. But I guess what I really want to say is, y'all are really worried about the economy here. You got to remember, you can only shear a sheep. You can shear a sheep many times, but you can only skin them once. What happens to the workforce when their kids get sick? They get sick. Somebody gets hospitalized. Your grandmother dies. Whatever. I'm just very, very concerned. I saw the darkness rolling in 2019 and 2020. Thought it was going away, but I don't know. All that to say, y'all ask me again, I'll do it again. 100%, no hesitation. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving in on our sheet here, we have some question marks and just wanted to kind of revisit. If you put a question mark, if you'd like to come up, again, I think this is an open space. Feel free to share, but Dane Williams? Dane?
I'm not that person.
Okay, go ahead, absolutely.
Get it over with.
Come on, we're gonna start that process right here, open it up, all right.
Okay, so just to follow that up is hard, but I'm gonna have a written piece. Life is fragile and our bonds are strong. I'm speaking out today loudly for the sake of my union brothers, my union sisters, and the rest of our AFSCME 1624 community. We want to make this a great town, and that's a big factor in our requests today. I am speaking out with gratitude, and I'm speaking out with power. And this is power we have earned and now firmly cemented in the elections that recently passed last year. Congratulations to all of you. Our shared power is not weird. That is what happens when we plan together, we mobilize, we strategize, and we work towards our community's issues. I believe every chance like this to raise our voice is a chance to be heard. So I am answering the call in the same way I respond to every other life emergency. So I'll start. My name is Eduardo Perez, and I'm an employee of the city for the past 12 years. I am an engineer with the state. I love my job. I will continue to do it, whether you raise my wages or not. This has been true since I was employed. I am not switching my careers because of the money you present to me. So I will add that you have been doing a great job. Politics is hard. I will not make any harder requests. But one request I do have is a change of tone. This is an emergency. I cannot afford to live in this town, and I am an engineer of the state, and I am not unique in this situation. We have doctors that can't afford their homes. Many people that were born rich are becoming less rich. I am not one of those people. I don't ever aim, and I don't hope to be one of those people. I'm not from this country. I will never be. That is true to me as it's true to some of our employees that work with the city. We're immigrants. We work in construction. We have very fragile and precarious families that were born into them. And we tend to be the highest earners in layers of generations. And so if you can identify employees that are heads of households, those are a unique class of employees. Many of us city employees have incredibly good jobs, but we are holding a line for our family members. If you can help me protect my family members, I'm not concerned with money, although that's what we're here to talk about. I have had money problems all my life. I know y'all are new to having money problems. Good luck. But yeah, we are a big community. Some of us have a lot to offer, and it's an emergency for all of us, those that have and those that don't. So just be cognizant of who we are. We will continue to vouch for our leaders. That's why we're all here today, is because we're winners, and let's continue with that energy and momentum. Times are very hard right now, and just sometimes speaking out is scary to me because even like bad bosses are employed by the city. Bad bosses can get in the way of some of our new staff that we hope will become our champions of our children. So thank you for being here. I don't have something direct to ask for that they haven't already told you about, but if you protect them, you will protect people like me. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for getting us started there. I want to open it up. I think everyone who identified as saying yes has spoken, but seeing that, and if you would like to, yeah, you want to, please.
Fall asleep. Hello, My name is Julia Finn. I am a procurement supervisor in FSD, Financial Services Department. I have been a proud AFSCME member since I started with the city 7 years ago, and I am a resident of District 7. I became a procurement supervisor or supervisor generally so that I could use my privilege to take care of my staff. And we have gone through this telework hellhole for 2 years. We were given a maze, and my staff ran through your maze. We went all the way to the ACM, and we talked to her individually about our concerns, and the union came with some of us. And she didn't want to hear it. I also talked with our director, our new director, and had a conversation with her because I'm not going to sit and complain behind closed doors. I'm going to go talk to the people who have the power and try to convince them of what we need and what they should give to us. But we were ignored. We are now in the office 2 days a week, which is a blessing, right? I'm grateful to only be in the office 2 days a week. It was 1 day a week, and we were getting our jobs done. But back to this cost of living increase. You all are probably familiar with procurement. It's probably been a rough lesson to the new ones of you because it can take us up to 12 months to put a master agreement in place. It can take us several days to put your delivery order together. And our staff who are doing that, it takes them at least a year to onboard and get good at their job and understand both the state and the local procurement laws. And you want them also to be well paid so that they are not taking bribes, right? And they're keeping the whole process fair. And so if we have this across the board increase so that our staff are getting paid a living wage, most of our staff do not live in Austin. I was able to tell you what district I live in. I don't think many others of our staff could. They live in New Braunfels, they live in Pflugerville, they live in Buda. So I really think that it is important to have this hybrid raise so you're supporting everybody, even the people in FSD. Y'all don't probably hear from us very often, but I will love to talk to you anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just like that, more, any more? Come on. Anyone want to represent their department? All right, we got someone coming down. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ronnie Sessers. I am new to the city. This is my first union meeting, and I believe I live in your district, so nice to meet you. Let's see. I had a little something prepared, but I wasn't quite sure of the MIT cost of living increase. Depending on where you look, the average cost of an apartment here in town is $1,434. That would come up to around $26.68 an hour in order to meet landlord requirements of 3 times your rent. The average city worker right now earns $26.30 an hour. So even the MIT wouldn't get us to that benchmark. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not much of a public speaker.
You got it.
Thank you. I know that we can't just snap our fingers and get people to raise budgets, get a better shot of seeing I-35 construction finished in our lifetimes and that. But there's a bigger picture to everything going on. We have tariffs that are going to be cutting into our wages. We have inflation that's going to raise the cost of living by 2.5% this year. And Austin's official community vision is to be the most livable city in the country. And while that sounds great, if the people maintaining the city can't afford to live here, like many of the people in this room, then that kind of falls flat. We want to be proud members of this community and take care of the community that we live in, but with many of us not living here, that rings hollow. I'm not asking for a miracle. I'm asking for a budget that reflects the real cost of living. I'm proud to work for the city. I'm proud to serve the community. But I believe the city should be maintained by its citizens. Thank you.
and welcome to your first union meeting.
I'm one of the question marks. Dane Williams. I am a supervisor for Austin Resource Recovery, formerly known as Solid Waste Services. I wasn't going to speak at first because I didn't think it would make a real difference. For those of you that don't know what solid waste is, or Austin Resource Recovery, it is, we are the people that pick up the garbage, the recycling, the organics, the brush, the bulk, the everything. But we, unfortunately, I like to say garbage, but unfortunately, my department is treated like trash. The ordinance is that trash is picked up, garbage is picked up every 7 days. We understand that. But none of the employees, if you guys ask them, feel like they're appreciated. We are the lowest paid department. We are the, we're the department that's mistreated the most. None of our fleet ever really works. We work in the heat. None of our ACs ever work. Last night I worked for me being a supervisor. Of course, I was in the building. My guys worked 15 and a half hours last night, and we're still expected to be at work at 5:30 this morning. We got up at 9:30, quick turnaround. The bad thing about it is I'm not here to complain about money. We know we need money. I'm more concerned about our guys' safety. Last year, we were able to pass out water. And I mean, we had pallets and pallets of water. This year, we don't have any water, not one bottle, because our executive team has decided that because they found bottles of water that were maybe a quarter empty or maybe a fourth full or whatever the case was, that we are wasting water. And their excuse was, oh, we're trying to get the 2040 Zero Waste Initiative, so we can't waste plastic. Forget about the plastic. We have people's lives that we should be concerned about. There's no reason why I shouldn't, as a supervisor, be able to fill up my huge cooler in the back of my truck, go out on the routes, and at least offer our people water. Our guys shouldn't have to pull over in someone's and go in someone's yard and fill up their cooler from their water hose. I mean, water is essential, especially in Austin, Texas. I'm born and raised here. True story. As a little kid, I was always happy to see the garbage man come because they rode down the street and one was over here and one was over here and they would whistle and in unison they would dump and go. And it just intrigued me, so I became one. I used to be proud to work for the city of Austin, and I still work there because I have to work. But I would never, ever offer a young man or woman the chance to come to my department because they are so poorly treated. I've worked on both sides, the administration side and the operations side. Totally different. You have everything you need on the administration side, but you have nothing on the operational side. And we're the ones who bring the meat to the administration side. So the only thing I want you guys to consider is to reach out to someone in our department and let them know that we just want the bare essentials for our employees so that they can at least go home at night. I mean, we haven't had a lot of heat-related illnesses this year, and last year they curtailed a little bit, but one life lost is gonna be too much, and water is just not that big of a deal. That's all.
Thank you, Dan, for sharing your story. Thank you. We're gonna put it out there again. Anyone else? Absolutely, thank you.
All right. Hi, my name is Kelly Coleman, and I work in the equity office for the city of Austin. And I've worked there since it started in like 2016. I've been there. And I want to add on to what he just said. We know that nationally, right, that folks who work in those types of departments are most likely to be injured or killed, right? Even more so than police officers. So just laying that out. And I wanted to share, so I'm born and raised here too, for my Austin peeps. I'm from Dove Springs, but I live in D5 now. Very strange, living on that side of town. It's different. I'm a mother of three kids and a single mom. And I am the head of household. I also help take care of my dad. I help take care of my mom, who is still driving the bus. She's a part of ATU, that union. And she can barely walk, but she's still driving. She's 72, like I said, but I help with her. I have a little sister. I have brothers. I have, family members that I'm responsible for who have not been able to figure it out here, right? And I don't want to leave, but I want to support the COLA piece. That's really important, but I think we need way more than that, right? The differential between families that are living, below the 80% MFI in Austin, you have to be working several jobs. I make decent money, but I still have to have side hustles to be all right here with 3 kids, right? I have to. If I want a car to drive, if I need to pay, my kid, I have a college student paying tuition, extra things, when people get sick, when family members need, I figured that out. And so it would be great because if we get those salaries increased, right? We'll be able, people like me it'll give us some reprieve too, right? Who are used to taking care of people in our families who can't take care of themselves all the time, who work, right? And then I also wanted to say just about our office. I wanted to express, I don't know if I'll ever have this opportunity again, just the level of disappointment around the support that we got from the city around the attacks on DEI and how we like to say we're this and that, we're, Austin, we're equitable. We are not. And I think people get confused with even what that word means, I also, we have all these new people, you know what I'm saying? And instead of trying to figure out what the community has brought, because that's why we have an equity office, is because community organized and they pushed and they basically forced, the city to do what was right. And when it came down to it, all we were really open to do at the ledge was drop a card, There's a lot of us who have equity in our title. There wasn't a plan. We were having to plan. We were having to figure it out. And with these new folks, we have not seen the support that we would need, right? That you would expect from an equity office, right? Or leaders who have been in that space. So I'm worried. And actually, many of us that are there now, who have been there from the beginning, who y'all know from the community, just from the work that we do, even outside of our office, are wanting to go. So.
Villalobos, Immigrant Affairs Manager in the same office as Kelly. And I think to that point, you know, I've been there now for a little over 5 years. And every year, I hope that the city will invest more in supporting our immigrant communities. And each year, I'm disappointed. And I think not just like the folks that are part of the broader community, right, but the immigrants who are also city workers. I've had conversations with folks in EMS, for example, and granted they have their own union, but there are other employees at the city who are also DACA recipients, just like those EMS workers who have been waiting for the city to go through the PERM, Department of Labor certification process, who have been waiting for the city to sponsor them, who are now at risk of losing their work authorization because of the specific DACA limitations in the state of Texas, and there's still no action from the city. These are folks that are going to have to leave, not just the city, but the state, to try and find something that is less hostile, perhaps maybe choose to return to whatever their country of origin is, but who ultimately feel like the city doesn't have their back. And I think in addition to that, the broader inaction to support our immigrant communities in this moment is something that is also of concern to me. Because like I've said, I've been there for over 5 years, and the amount of funding that I've seen invested in our immigrant communities and in specific programs and services for our immigrant communities is not there. And to Kelly's point, you know, it is discouraging to be in that position, to feel like the work is not valued, that the people are not valued, and that there isn't a more active stance that is being taken. Because like for many of us that do this work, it's deeply personal. I grew up in this city. I grew up in 78721. I wish I could afford to buy a home there, but I'm displaced from that community. I live now in D10, less than a mile, where the Acacia Cliffs was voted against the support of those community members there. And I think that is part of this broader conversation around decisions that are being made that also create instability for a broader section of our community members, including the immigrant communities that live there, including renters like me who can't afford to buy a home in the city. And we're on the constant move, trying to find the next cheapest place that we can afford. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Kelly, for getting us started.
I love that department solidarity. Come on down, Juan.
Hey y'all, so my name is Juanita Torres. I've been in AFSCME since the first day I could join, and I'm very grateful to be here. I have 3 things that I'd like to chat about, or at least share with you. The first is the support that I believe City Council can provide for our immigrant community, but also folks that are not immigrant but care to support our immigrant community, specifically in the protection of our First Amendment right to free speech, and our constitutional rights to also record and be participants in peaceful protests and in rallies. Yesterday, 2 small business owners that I work with in my role as Economic Development Program Manager in the North Lamar District were arrested at the rally yesterday. And it's heartbreaking to see folks that I work with professionally that also care about issues that affect them personally be harassed and arrested by my coworkers, the police department. And I just really believe that we need to work together, and City Council can perhaps pass a resolution. I know I'm working with the Immigrant Rights Coalition in San Antonio right now, for our incoming mayor and council to pass a resolution that not only acknowledges the support that the city of San Antonio as a compassionate city can provide to our immigrant community, but also protects the First Amendment rights and protections that all people, all residents, all people in the United States have to witness, to document, and to support one another. So that's my first issue. The second one is, though I do work full-time in economic development, at the moment I have an interim role at the Animal Services Office. And I want to thank Councilmember Lane for visiting us a few weeks ago. We really appreciated having you there, and I know that we'll be setting up monthly meetings or very frequent meetings with your office. But I really want to advocate for the frontline staff at ASL. They do incredibly difficult jobs. And though our work in economic development can be very difficult, it requires a lot of funding that we hope to get your support for. ASO is in even more need. And I really want to advocate for the frontline staff, their well-being, their mental health, their emotional health, the resources that they require to be able to do their job. I know that budgets are tight all across the city, all across cities in the United States, but I really want to prioritize the support that we give them, and also in the bond that is coming up, the importance of investing in the facility and then possibly additional facilities for ASO. And the last item I'd like to bring to you all is the importance of ensuring that City Hall is the people's house. I worked at City Hall. That's how I began at the mayor's office there. And I remember it being a welcoming environment, one where people could go and share their thoughts, their beliefs, hold their representatives accountable, and also feel safe, and no longer feel safe. I know some of you are aware of several incidents that I personally have been, as an employee, harassed and racially profiled, and other, even having my badge taken away by a security officer and saying that it was fake, calling me out of my name several times, and harassing me in my own workplace, believing that I had falsified my employee status. That was incredibly jarring, and I know some of you up there were part of those conversations, and I'm very grateful for the support you showed, and the training that you were willing to help support, ensure that folks had, because again, independent of your race, independent of your gender, you can still have biases and prejudices towards one another, including people of your own race. But last week, I know some of you also received these messages. There were as many different residents, over 112 residents that showed up to speak. After the vote, which was devastating for many in our community, they were pushed out, escorted, and some harassed by the security staff at City Hall. So much so that they weren't even able to get the validation for their parking. Now, this might seem very small, but $35 is a lot of money. And especially when all you were doing was there, present as a resident of the city of Austin, to get your voice heard. It was very disappointing to see how they were treated. I was leaving a meeting from City Hall along with other coworkers, and we were stopped by some of the residents asking us if we could please help them get parking validations. The security staff was unwilling to support them. I tried. I went to my car to see if I had any extras, went back upstairs, and they had locked the doors even though it was 6:30 p.m. One of the security officers did come out, and they said that the only way that they were willing to give them parking validations was if a council member came and asked them themselves in person. That was very disappointing. We should not have a poll tax type of situation for folks that are just willing to share their ideas and be at City Hall all day to share how they feel about decisions that are affecting their community. I absolutely understand the need for decorum and the need for having, a way of doing things, but the way that we are treating our public and the way that we are treating our residents who are trying to, again, share their free expression and share their perspectives shouldn't be something that impedes them from getting something as what seems simple, like a parking validation, and causes them to go out of pocket for being there to share their voice. So I really hope to get your support as folks that sit at City Hall, who spend most of their time at City Hall, to make it again the People's House. I know there is an upcoming event called the People's Party that we started a few years ago. I really hope that you all will attend, but also witness how our residents are treated, and hopefully shift the way that things are done at City Hall, our workplace, because none of us should deserve to feel unsafe, especially not the public. Thank you.
Now, last call to open it up. Anyone? Anyone? Thank you.
I'll be brief, y'all, because I wasn't expecting to speak. My name is Ricardo, and I also work at the equity office with a really small group that has done mighty things in Austin. I live in Buda because I can't afford to live here. I'm also a community health worker instructor. I've been at the city for about 2 years now. I was working at the Dell Medical School before that. That's really where I got to see Austin Public Health do amazing work that a lot of times did not go recognized. It is appalling to me that lessons have not been learned, not only by this city, but at a national level, as to what public safety is during and after a pandemic. I think decisions have been made where investments have been made in policing and not in public health. I think there's a lot of talking about what it is to be with community and not investing in things that actually help the community. Seeing how Austin Public Health had to scramble and even let some people go when federal funding was cut, and knowing that APD has a whole lot of vacancies is ludicrous. I don't know how people sleep at night knowing that there's a department that is getting funding that doesn't need funding, and it's going to be weaponized. I was at the manifestation yesterday, and seeing how swift a response there is with police, and seeing how slow things are when, even during the pandemic, again, should be something y'all should really look into. Y'all should be held responsible for too. A pandemic happened and we invested more in APD, and APH is underfunded. We're not learning. We're not learning from anything. Community health workers at Austin Public Health are helping people get food, transportation. They were helping with childcare. They were doing stuff that some folks will never know. And the fact that they have to beg and look for funding and have to find ways to place people to keep their jobs, again, should be something you guys really look into. The budget is a moral document. And if you guys continue investing in APD, APD should not have funding for the next 20 years, and they'd be fine. If they stay where they are for the next 20 years, they'd be fine. Austin Public Health and the rest of the departments in the city should not have to beg for scraps. And so if we call ourselves a progressive city and whatever makes us feel good, we should actually put money where it really matters. And I can tell you as a community health worker, Austin Public Health needs a lot more funding. They need a lot more support. Please look into our community health workers. Please ask how those programs work, because that is public safety.
So please define. I'll close it there.
Switch to the other.
Switch to the other mic. 2 mics there.
I'll close it off there. Please question yourselves as to what public safety is. A pandemic was a clear example, and we did not learn our lesson. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? All right, I got a couple things I just want to make sure we touch on before we wrap up. So first off, let's get a heartfelt thank you, a round of applause for everybody that shared their story today. Let's give some applause for the council members who joined us today. I think this showed that while, we initially set this up to talk about COLA, talk about the TRE, that the city's budget and the services that we provide spreads across so many different areas. We have to think about that all holistically. I think we kind of touched on some of that throughout the day. So we know there's a lot of work ahead for the council members and for us. The budget season's coming. July 15th, the budget will be released by the city manager's office, and it's off to the races, I guess. I think you guys hopefully heard a lot of good feedback today about what we're looking for, what we think the community is going to need. And so we'll be interested to see where things go and see where things likely go with the tax rate election. I think this is just a really good reminder of what we did here today about the things that AFSCME really stands for, which is about solidarity. It's about having a voice, and it's about respect. And so we really appreciate, again, everybody who made that possible today. It doesn't have to end tonight. The council members are going to be having budget town halls in their districts. And so if you live in Austin and you see that there's a town hall, I'd encourage you to go to that town hall, share your story again. We want to make sure that our neighbors, that the community is aware of what we think our needs are and hearing the same message that we put out here tonight. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Let's see, did I cover all the announcements? We have, Mayor Pro Tem Vanessa Fuentes joined us. Thank you. All right.
Gordon, can we recap?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, hi, everybody. Ashley Krause. I'm also the recording secretary for AFSCME, but I was trying to keep it brief. So just to recap, and also because Mayor Pro Tem just joined us, in the immediate term, we would like to see a $2,000 raise for anybody that's making under $50,000 a year. We would like to see a 4% flat raise for those making over $50,000 a year with a cap at $5,000. We believe that's how we'll pay for it. Is to cap those that earn higher in this progressive COLA at $5,000. In the medium term, we'd like to see us get to that MIT living wage of $24.55 an hour. And then there are things we've asked for here tonight that won't cost you a thing. Just dignity, respect, and working with HRD to see consistency across policies, and working with leadership to feel respected and heard as the professionals that we are. And I think that's the recap of what we're asking for. I'm stalling. I'm stalling you two. I think that's the recap of what we're asking for in this budget cycle, upcoming budget cycles, and moving forward.
More announcements. Come out to the Juneteenth parade, march with us. That's on the 19th, next Thursday. Come out to our next journal membership meeting, which is June 26th at 6 o'clock at the AFL-CIO building. Does anybody else want to make any comments before we get out of here? Okay.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. How are y'all doing? Thank you. Yes, thank you. I know I arrived a little bit late, but just wanted to share my appreciation for all of the work that y'all are doing at the City of Austin on behalf of our residents, and just want to acknowledge and appreciate that work. I know that right now we are going through some pretty tough times as a community on all fronts. And so I would be remiss if I didn't share my in-person gratitude for your work, and to also reaffirm my commitment to ensure that we do all that we can as local leaders to ensure that everyone is paid livable wages, that we have safe work sites, safe working conditions, and robust benefits for all of our city workers. And again, thank you for this opportunity to be here with you. District 2 will be having our budget town hall on July 30th. And I invite everyone to attend. Since I wasn't able to hear the majority of the feedback tonight, but know that I am available via email, via phone, social media, you name it, and know that you have strong supporters in the District 2 office. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Go ahead. Thank you.
Use this. I just wanted to thank everyone for coming
coming out. I was taking notes during the whole thing, and I really do appreciate everyone's testimony. But the two things that stood out to me the most, Mr. Williams, who talked about just the working conditions, I'm sorry. Just the lack of humanity in that. Like, I truthfully wasn't aware of that. I don't think any of my colleagues were, but I think that's something that really stood out to all of us, and we really want to make sure that we do right, and not wrong. And then something that came up, I think it was one of the last speakers, Wani. I remember speaking to Wani a few years back when she dealt with the racial profiling at City Hall. And that last council meeting was contentious at the end. But that doesn't mean folks, despite differing opinions, everyone should be treated with dignity and respect. And I was honestly, I was appalled at how city security, roughed up and treated folks. So as a council member, I apologize. No one's experience at City Hall should be anything less than human. And I think it's our jobs as council members to put forward good policy, but also to show empathy and kindness. And I'm sorry that, I don't know where Wani is right now, but that anyone who ever comes in the people's house feels anything less than that. So that's something I'll definitely be bringing up with folks in the building, because I think that's unacceptable. But I just want to say, I really do appreciate everyone for coming out. We do have a budget town hall coming up. I forgot what date that is.
It's July 17th.
I think it's July 17th. But if you go on our social media and if you're subscribed to our newsletter, it's a great newsletter. You'll hear more about it.
Well, that's two numbers there.
Great. Okay.
I'm keeping this super short. Thank you to everyone who came. There was so much that you said that I don't know how he took his notes on one page. I have like a stack of them, but that landed for me that I'll carry forward. I appreciate you, not just for what you do in your jobs every day and for our city in so many ways, but also for coming here to elevate these stories so we could hear them at this important moment and also come together. Because that's how we get through it. Seems like I better rest up so I can be ready for the fights to come. Thank you.
I'm awkwardly going to steal the microphone from Mike Siegel so he gets to go last, but I really appreciate getting to hear directly from folks. You said earlier, I want to make sure that Austin is the best employer in town and that we retain the best and the brightest individuals. So it's clear that you're all very passionate about your work, and it's on us to help keep moving that forward to make sure that you feel that appreciation from us, from city leadership, and other folks that you interact with in your day-to-day work. But I really appreciate getting to hear directly from everybody about their experiences and what we can do to help make your job easier and better and to compensate you better too.
And Paige is having a virtual town hall on which day?
It's July 21st or 23rd, I'm sorry, but sign up for our newsletter. It's also very good.
I subscribe, but it's very good. Well, thanks y'all. District 7 Town Hall is July 22nd. We'll post that as well. And I'll just say, I can't speak for the entire council, but I think we're gonna have strong support for your demands for a 4% equitable cost of living increase with the $2,000 floor, $5,000 ceiling. And also like Zoe and all of us here, we were definitely taking notes about all the departmental issues. Heidi Sloan is in the back from the District 7 office. She's our labor liaison, among other things. But yeah, Austin Resource Recovery, we want to work with the workers there, the equity office, both for your office as well as the work y'all do for the immigrant community. We definitely need to be showing up for you. Animal services, thank you, Wani, for sharing that note. And so I would love if we keep up the cadence of these kinds of meetings, and this is so helpful. I know y'all can't come to City Hall and testify against your bosses, so it is helpful to have this space. So thanks so much for putting this together. Take care.
I'd like to share the District 6 Budget Town Hall is July 19th. We are being hosted by Foundation Communities in their Learning Center, walking distance from Lakeline Station. I would love to hear as much as we can. I love the ability to bring our city leadership to listen to us all and see for themselves. Thank you.
Yeah. Look at that.
28th?
Also the 28th.
Also the 20th? Yeah. Just yell it out. Jenna
We're
works
on
for
the
me.
19th and the 28th in District 6. 26th.
19th and 28th.
Okay.
All right.
I just follow my calendar. I don't know. One day at a time.
Pretty good for an inaugural city speak out, I think, correct? All right, let's stay loud, let's stay united, let's get these raises, let's get the respect and dignity we deserve. Thanks, have a good night. Solidarity forever.
Mark.